most of you guys know that one of my main bugbears in boxing is fanboys. Irrational individuals who form large groups that rally behind particular fighters, and they will not hear a critical word said about the fighter who they support, irrespective of how legitimate the criticism is. They just won't hear it, and they will attack you like a rabid mob. Now, not so much today, but several years ago, Manny Pacquiao fans used to be among the worst culprits for this fanboy behavior, where they were irrational and fanatical and just abusive to anybody who criticized not only Pacquiao, but criticized his promoter Bob Arum or his trainer Freddie Roach at one point. But fast forward to 2019, and also these fanatical Pacquiao fans would be viciously critical of anybody associated with Floyd Mayweather, be it Mayweather himself, his trainer, or his advisor Al Hayman. As I say, fast forward to 2019, and what do we have now? We've got Manny Pacquiao signed to Al Hayman. I mean, years ago, this would have been unthinkable, wouldn't it? It would have been unthinkable because the Pacquiao fanatics hated Al Hayman with such a deep passion, and they made out as though the only people who signed with Al Hayman were complete idiots, brainwashed zombies. This is the irony of it. And they made Al Hayman literally out to be the devil incarnate. So what a day it must have been for these individuals when they found out that their hero Manny Pacquiao has signed with the devil. But it gets worse because Pacquiao's popularity really took a massive blow when he lost to Floyd Mayweather. There were still some diehards clinging on to their belief that Pacquiao was the better fighter and putting up all kinds of ridiculous videos where they were breaking down the fight in slow motion and trying to make out as though Pacquiao really won. But his, for the most part, popularity took a big dip after the Mayweather fight, and it's never really recovered from that dip. But when he was still with Bob Arum, there was this talk of a passing of the torch fight between Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford. Now, in this interview right here that you can see on screen, Bob Arum admits that he was the one who blocked that fight from happening. You see, at the time, there was still, quite a few Pacquiao diehards around who were acting as though Terence Crawford was the one who was afraid. Terence Crawford was the one who didn't want to go through with the fight. But here we have Bob Arum coming out saying, actually, it was me basically protecting Manny Pacquiao from Terence Crawford. Now, some people are going to say Bob Arum's lying here because Pacquiao's no longer with him. So what's Bob Arum going to do? He's going to make out that Crawford is the beast and that Crawford was always going to beat Pacquiao and, so on and so forth. And this is just marketing by Bob Arum. It's just propaganda. And that's possible. But what does that show you about Bob Arum's character? Bob Arum's character hasn't become this way overnight. Bob Arum's character was like this when he was with when Pacquiao was with him. So this shows that Bob Arum may have hidden things from the public, may have lied to the public about certain aspects of Manny Pacquiao's career, opponents who he fought or opponents he didn't fight. Yeah. If he's able to do that now for Terence Crawford, why wouldn't he have been able to do it back when Pacquiao was with him, even during Pacquiao's heyday? So this is something I find amusing because of, it's not just Pacquiao fanboys, it's the fanboys of all fighters or most fighters who behave in this way. And, fanatics of certain fighters are more fanatical than, other groups. But the Pacquiao supporters were particularly fanatical. And the way Pacquiao's career has panned out since then, it is kind of, you do kind of have the last laugh and shake your head at some of the foolish stuff these people have been saying over the years. The reality is, you know, Pacquiao's a fantastic fighter, a warrior, a credit to the sport of boxing. I mean, I know people are going to be talking about PEDs and all this business. We can't prove it. He may have been on PEDs, but my whole thing is, how many top fighters are not on PEDs? That's probably the more accurate question to ask. But yeah, it just shows that fanboys are not in their right mind. That's why they can come out and say all the ridiculous things. They get carried away saying all the ridiculous things that they say, like the Pacquiao fans were saying about Al Hayman, and they were making Bob Arum out to be a demigod, you know? Arum could do no wrong and he was the best promoter in the world and Arum never lies and blah, 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 blah. I mean, you just go look at Bob Arum's history. Go to his Wikipedia page and look at some of the stuff Bob Arum has been involved in back in the days, and you'll find out that he's not exactly the most honest person in the world. I'm not saying he's any worse than Eddie Hearn or Frank Warren or whoever the case may be, but you know, he's certainly not who the Pacquiao fans made him out to be. That's the point. And the longer you're in boxing, you see these reoccurring patterns where claims of fanboys are exposed over time. But by the time their claims are exposed, people are no longer paying attention. This is why the cycle keeps on repeating itself. Because now Bob Arum is coming out and saying that he blocked the Crawford fight because he knew how it would end. He knew Crawford would destroy Pacquiao. Nobody really cares about that anymore. You know, let me not say nobody, but Pacquiao isn't as revered in boxing as he used to be. I know he still has his diehards, but Pacquiao literally had half of the boxing world behind him, at least half of the boxing world behind him at one stage. He no longer has that. Now he's seen as old. Now he's seen as vulnerable. Keith Thurman has been calling Pacquiao out, and Thurman has been getting a lot of criticism for calling Pacquiao out instead of calling out Spence, Sean Porter, even Crawford. Because that's how much people's perception of Pacquiao has changed. Now people see Pacquiao as a vulnerable old man, and as almost like a cherry pick for somebody like a Keith Thurman. You see? So at this point, people don't really care so much about Pacquiao potentially being protected from Terence Crawford when he was with Bob Arum. People don't really care about that so much now. You know, if these revelations had come out at the height of Pacquiao's career, then it would have made much more of an impact on boxing fans. They would have been able to see how delusional so many fanboys really are when it comes to their perception of boxing politics. So anyway, I'm going to end it here, people. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And I always felt this was the case. I mean, even Freddie Roach came out publicly when he was still training Pacquiao and said that he didn't want Pacquiao to fight Terence Crawford. I think it was after, particularly after the Victor Postol fight, because Freddie Roach trained Victor Postol. And the way Terence Crawford deconstructed Postol, Freddie Roach was like, you know what? I don't want Pacquiao to go in the ring with this guy. And he was quite honest about it. You know, quite honest about it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's Hayman, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.